Hello, and welcome to the STAR Module 2 webinar on implementing evidence-based reading instruction. My name is Jane Meyer. I'm a STAR trainer and a STAR implementer from Canton, Ohio. Trainers deliver this webinar live to each cohort, but I've recorded it for those who have to miss the live webinar or in case someone wants to hear it again. So let's get started. The purpose of today's webinar is for you to see the big picture of where we're headed with this project. You'll begin to see what your classrooms and your programs will look like when you're implementing evidence-based reading instruction with your intermediate level readers. Then we'll talk about the activities we're going to do to get there. We'll look at the course syllabus and talk about the course content and timelines. You should have already received directions on how to navigate the electronic resources in this course. Hopefully, you've had time to review this information. At the end of the live webinars, each trainer stays on with anyone who needs help with the electronic resources. But since we're not live, we won't do that today. But please contact your trainer if you have any questions or problems navigating through the online course. We're going to begin with this newly redesigned shopping cart. Look carefully and then jot down at least 3 things that you observe about the cart. There are several things that most people notice when asked about this cart. First, they usually say that the front wheels are too small and they don't touch the ground, so the cart will tip over. Also, there's no baby seat for your child. And there's no bottom shelf for larger items. Another problem, the openings in the sides are too wide, so things could fall out. You probably had some of these same observations, maybe a few more. When we see something new, we tend to think about how the new thing would fit in our current environments or circumstances. Right away, we thought about how this cart wouldn't work in the grocery stores we shop in. But what if this newly redesigned shopping cart was in a newly redesigned store? Perhaps the cart's smaller front wheel docks itself onto a device which is similar to a robotic vacuum that automatically propels itself forward. Maybe there's a daycare center in the store. Or maybe in this new store, you just submit your grocery list electronically and your cart is filled and delivered to your home. In this project, you'll be redesigning your shopping cart, which is the way you currently teach reading. You'll be learning new techniques for diagnostic assessment and for instruction. You'll probably find that your new cart, the evidence-based techniques that you'll be learning to teach reading, won't work in your old store, which is your classroom or your program structure. The STAR project will help you remodel your store as you built your new cart. It's tempting to just work on the cart and forget about the store. But if you don't remodel the store, the new cart won't work. So as you learn about the new techniques for teaching reading and build your new shopping cart, also think about the changes you're going to have to make to your store, your classroom, and your program to enable you to use the new shopping cart. This two-pronged approach of working on mastering new techniques while making needed structural and functional changes is supported by the research on successful implementation gathered by the National Implementation Research Network, NIRN. You're going to have a lot of work to do, but your trainer is going to be here to help you. And you're going to do the work over a period of several months. Your stores won't all look alike. You're going to have to decide what things need to be remodeled in your classroom and your program, and how you're going to remodel them in order to use the evidence-based reading techniques. Some of you are from programs who have already begun implementing evidence-based reading instruction, and your stores may be partially remodeled. All of the trainers have built their own shopping carts and remodeled their stores, and they've seen this done many different ways. Your trainer will help you avoid some of the pitfalls and get through the barriers as you implement. This is Lori Martin's classroom in Chicago. She's working with 20 intermediate level readers. Sometimes they work together as a whole class, but mostly Lori has them working in small groups. Lori did a diagnostic reading assessment of each of her students, so she knows what each student needs to work on as far as accurate decoding, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. Her diagnostic assessment also identified what level of text would be challenging, but not too difficult for each student. Throughout the class period, the students group and regroup according to their needs and the levels of text that are most appropriate for them to be working with. Lori moves from group to group, providing direct instruction. Sometimes, while she's working with one group, the other students work on assignments on their own. Sometimes, Lori has more than one group working at a time and she moves between the groups. Some days she has an aide who can work with some of the groups. To keep all this organized and help the students know what to do next, Lori has organized a classroom routine. Lori had to build a new shopping cart. She had to make some changes in the way she taught reading. She also had to remodel her store, her classroom, and make some remodeling changes at the program level in order to do the diagnostic assessment and to organize her classroom routine to fit in instruction for all the groups. Over the next several months, your trainer will be helping you learn how to do the diagnostic assessment and how to teach reading using evidence-based techniques. You'll be building your new shopping cart, and like Lori, you'll need to do some remodeling of your store. There are 3 sections of the training. In Section 1, you'll learn about the components of reading and how to conduct diagnostic assessment. You'll have a face-to-face meeting at the end of Section 1. Be sure you check with your trainer if you don't already know the date for this meeting so you can get it on your calendar. Section 2 focuses on delivering evidence-based reading instruction in each of the 4 components of reading. A second face-to-face meeting will be held at the end of Section 2. Make sure you also have this date on your calendar. Section 3 focuses on putting everything together into an instructional routine and fully implementing. Each section contains modules. Most modules are completed online on your own, so you can do them whenever it's convenient for you. You can stop to reflect or go back and look at parts again if you want to. Some modules are program team meetings. The first time you go through the modules, you'll need to go through them all in order. After you've completed a module, it'll be open for you to go back to it at any time. The online modules use explicit instruction where new techniques are explained and modeled, and you're guided through some online practice, followed by assignments where you try the new techniques with your students and share reflections in your program portfolio. Other participants from your program and any previously STAR-trained staff from your program will be able to support you by reading your reflections and discussing your ideas and questions. Your trainer will also participate in the discussions in your program portfolio. You'll need to plan time to post your own reflections and plan time to respond to the questions and ideas that others from your program post. You can also share and receive support from others outside your program by posting questions or making comments in the cohort discussions. From the syllabus, you can see that your next steps are to complete 2 distance modules on your own, and then you'll need to meet as a program group for about an hour. Then you'll have 4 distance modules to complete on your own. Each of these modules explains how to do diagnostic assessments in one of the 4 reading components: alphabetics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. At the end of each of these 4 modules, you'll be practicing giving diagnostic assessments in that reading component and reflecting on your experiences in your program portfolio. Note that after modules where you have an assignment to post and you have to put something in your program portfolio, your trainer will need to touch base with you before you can move on to the next module. This might be an email or a phone call to make sure all your questions are answered and you feel comfortable and confident with the material before moving on to the next chunk. You'll be using your diagnostic assessment materials beginning in Module 6. If you haven't already selected and received your diagnostic assessment materials, you'll want to get on that right away. If you have questions or need help, please email your trainer. In Module 10, you'll see a video of a complete diagnostic assessment of all 4 components. Then you'll practice doing complete assessments of all 4 components. You'll be sharing your diagnostic assessment results for at least 3 students in your program portfolio before the first face-to-face meeting. And then at that face-to-face meeting, you'll be going over those results and talking about what they mean. So you'll want to work your timeline backwards from the first face-to-face meeting to allow plenty of time to complete the modules and do the diagnostic assessments before the meeting. It might be a good idea to make sure your program has set up that 1-hour program group meeting after this call, so everyone will know their timeline. Your trainer is looking forward to working with you and meeting you in person at the face-to-face meeting. Meanwhile, as you work through the modules, you'll undoubtedly have questions. Please don't hesitate to contact your trainer. And your trainer will be checking in with you as well. Thanks for joining me today. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, please contact your trainer.